All right, hi everyone, welcome. So I'm going to provide you an overview of Incident Monitor, both from a resource perspective, so someone who provides service to the end user community, and as an end user. Now, I'm not going to get into all of our inbound email handling and that kind of thing. You can contact us and we can actually do a formal demo for you if you'd like. So here's the resources view into the world. This is our default request layout, and you can actually go and define and design your own requests as well. I'll show you that in 2 seconds. But here we have our resolution timers, so we can actually see, we can have any number of timers associated with a given request. So you can have contact callback timers, you can have acknowledgement timers, you can have third-party timers, resolution timers, so on. So there's probably about 6 or 7 different timers you can actually apply to any given request. Okay, down here we actually have milestones associated with it, so assessment, assigned, and progress resolved. So these are just generic milestones that we have applied for this type of request. So milestones are very contextual. They can apply to a given workflow or just a given life cycle of the request, or you may have no milestones at all. That really depends on how you work and how you want to work. Okay, so looking at a request, a custom designed request. Here's a custom designed request that you basically just use our forms designer and paint it up, and you can design your own request within the system and have that layout. So based on the request intake, you can actually use this type of request. And where that comes into play is if I come over here and I go to my new request, so this will actually give us the default form within the system. Okay, that would be what we publish that you get out of the box. And then you can actually have any templated requests, and then down here is a streamlined request. So I can have any number of custom designed requests as well. Okay, so anytime there's a custom design request, whenever you view a request, you're always going to see that custom designed request. All right, so let me go back over here and go back to my view here. I'll show you, here's a change management request as well. So in the change management request, we can actually see the workflow engine at work. So I can go here, view workflow. Okay, and then let me tear this away. So you can always tear things away and get an enlarged view. Okay, and here's the workflow associated with it. So pretty complex, or not complex, but a very, very robust workflow engine. You can design any workflow that you'd like, handling any number of approvals. You can do group approvals, voting approvals, team approvals, and so on. Single approvals, and engaging the end user in approvals as well. So if you need end user sign off or something, they can be completely engaged in it, going through our service portal. All right. The other thing within here is the links, so you can actually link things together and determine the whole causality chain. So in this case, I can see there was a major incident and several sub incidents driving this major incident, which actually was linked to a problem, which then generated this change. Okay. Forms. This has a pretty basic form associated with it, but we can see the form right away. Okay. Pretty standard kind of. There's nothing funky there. It's a pretty easy one but we can actually have check boxes, radio buttons, dynamic forms, and so on. So you can have forms walking the user through their whole selection process as well. We'll see that in a second. So I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to go to the service portal. I'll enter in a form, a request here. Okay. So I'm going to go Jim Smith, or Jim the end user will be and I'm going to require that Jill Jones actually is another user in the system, and she's a manager, so I require her approval for this particular request. This person needs that. Okay. They need a surface, and then we're going to actually add in another item. They need an iPad. Okay, so you can now see that within these forms, you can design forms to be what we would call a repeating section. So you can actually have any n number of sections or elements within there. So it's great for handling any type of request processes or hardware items or even work orders, that kind of stuff. All right, so now I hit submit. You can see in here too, it was totaling up the whole time. All of this is done without any coding. You just drag and drop these properties onto the form, lay it out, indicate whether it's repeating or not, and away you go. So I'm gonna hit submit. All right, so we've got our request into the system, and it's ready to go. Now I'm gonna go and log in as this person, so you can see the workflow that's associated with it, and we'll come back and look at this workflow later. And you can see right away that the milestones are completely different than our other milestones, and we're actually at the obtain manager approval phase. So let me go out of here. This is our change calendar before I leave. So we actually have a whole calendaring system. It's great for managing changes. You can actually, there's a project planner as well. So you can actually use this to manage your projects and actually have defined workflow with this. Gives you a whole project planning capabilities as well. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to log in as Jill Jones. So recall, Jill Jones was the one we actually said we require an approval for. So she's in as an end user. You're going to see a different layout. This is a custom portal. You can design any number of custom portals within IncidentMonitor, which is great for if you support multiple companies, or if you have multiple departments within your organization and you want to provide them a different look and feel, maybe different functionality based on what department it is, that kind of thing. So you can design these all in. All right. So I'm going to go down, and because I'm Jill, I would have received a notification saying that there was an approval for me, and I'll come in and see this approval so I can actually go and look at the request. I'm going to get a thumbs up, thumbs down as to whether I should approve it or not. Okay. And I'm going to go, yeah, approve. Okay. So that part of the request is done. Okay, I can go look at the history and see where it's at. So it's actually back to Joe, the support agent, and it's at the assessment phase. So now Joe is actually going to assess it and then move it through the workflow. So let's go back over here. I'm going to log out as this person, and I will log in as Joe. Okay, so now we're into Joe's queue. We see his request right here. The whole preview of it. I can go look at the workflow. I'm going to see the workflow this way. So we can see that it was it went through obtain a manager approval. Now we're at the assessment phase with this. We can see that's the arrow that we have. All right, so if I go here, and I can just do this. I'm going to say assessment's complete. Okay, so now we're at the obtain IT manager approval phase. All right, and this phase is now we're actually have gone, and it's gone to Eric the manager. So we'll see Eric the IT manager will actually end up having to go through an approval as well. So the difference there is that one is a resource, and the first one down here was Jill Jones as a contact. So we've got the end user actually engaged in the entire life cycle of the request. Okay, if I need to see the form, I can just click here, link over. It'll overlay it on the left-hand side. I can see everything that I need to do. All right. And yeah, that's our assets. So if we have any assets associated with it, Okay, we can actually go take a look at the assets. We have assets at the end user, the department, and the company level as ownership. So I have all my asset capabilities right here. I can see the form. You can see right now we've actually gone through the assessment phase, and now we're into the order milestone, which is including this obtain manager IT approval. If we went back and looked at the workflow, we would see that. Okay, so we're down in here, obtain IT manager approval. So this is all part of our order milestone, and that's basically just how we've defined it within the workflow. So here I can actually have full access to the CMDB, so I can actually come in and say asset classes. I know I need XPS 15s. Let me go here, do a find, see all the XPS ones that are available. So this is showing me all the unallocated inventory, or I could actually change my ownership. We also have consumables. So if I needed to actually go look at our licensed software, I can do this, do a find. Okay. And we'll see the quantity, total quantity, reorder thresholds. So it's a great way we can actually manage all of our license managements as well. And if we go look at these, go to the properties over here, we got a full purchase cycle as well. So we can actually go look at the entire purchase history for these types of assets, see what the total value is, what we've actually put out, and so on. Okay. Well, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. And contact us at sales@monitor24-7.com, or check out our website at www.monitor24-7.com.